In 10 minutes, my parents walk into my office with their biggest client ever. They think I'm just a vendor. They have no idea I own the entire company. My name is Chloe Mitchell. I'm 33, founder and CEO of Terra Verde Dynamics. To the world, I'm a visionary in sustainable architecture. But to my parents, Richard and Cynthia Mitchell, San Francisco real estate royalty, I'm the family's greatest failure. And right now, I can see my mother through the glass lobby doors, clutching that expensive tablet she never goes anywhere without. I have a feeling it won't survive the next 10 minutes. Before I tell you what happens next, drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. I want to see who's part of this story. I grew up in glass and steel, a penthouse overlooking the financial district. The Mitchell Hale Properties empire wasn't just a business, it was a dynasty. And I was the sole heir. Our home was immaculate. Expensive art, minimalist furniture that looked beautiful but felt like sitting on concrete. It wasn't a home, it was a showroom. Success was measured in skyscraper heights and client prestige. Nothing else mattered. From the time I could walk, my future was already decided, sealed, non-negotiable. Chloe, pay attention. My mother would say this when I was 8 years old, pulling me into their home office. Watch how your father handles this negotiation. You'll need these skills when you run the company. While other kids played at parks, I sat through etiquette training. While they read storybooks, my shelves were filled with biographies of real estate moguls, market strategy textbooks, zoning law primers, every A+, every debate trophy. None of it was mine. It was all just stepping stones toward the future they'd already built for me. Dinner conversations were never about my day, never about me. They were about leveraging assets, market projections, zoning loopholes. The pressure was suffocating. But my passion wasn't in their cold numbers. It wasn't in the steel and glass boxes they built. It was in how things could be built differently. I still remember the first time I saw a diagram of a termite mound, this massive, self-cooling, self-sustaining structure, built by nature. I was obsessed. I started hiding books, biomimicry, sustainable design. I'd check them out from the school library and tuck them under my mattress. Behind the business textbooks my parents forced on me, I filled journals with sketches, buildings that could breathe, that recycled their own water, covered in living green walls. I tried to share it once, just once. I was 12. I brought my father a sketch, a skyscraper inspired by a lily pad, designed to collect and filter rainwater. He barely looked up from his financial reports. That's creative, Chloe. My mother gave me that tight, practiced smile, patted my hand like I was a puppy. That's a sweet hobby, dear. But leave the real work to your father. Buildings are about assets, not artwork. From that day on, I learned to hide. By high school, the tension was unbearable. I got perfect grades, joined the economics club, did everything they demanded. But in secret, I was building a different education, learning about geothermal energy, smart glass, zero carbon footprints. My parents thought my interest in science was just a useful elective for business school. They had no idea I wasn't planning to manage assets. I was planning to make their entire business model obsolete. To them, this burning need I had to build something that mattered, it was nothing more than a childish fantasy, a distraction from the only thing that had value. The Mitchell Hale legacy. The breaking point came senior year. My father borrowed the family computer to check some figures. I didn't think anything of it, until I heard his office chair scrape violently against the hardwood. Then his voice, cold, sharp. Chloe, get in here, now. He'd found my browser history, my secret completed applications for scholarships to the top sustainable architecture programs in the country. The argument that followed was explosive, but looking back, I realized it wasn't just anger, it was something far more complex. My father wasn't just furious I'd defied him, he was personally insulted. You have to understand. For people like my parents, trapped in what I call the gilded cage, their children aren't really people. We're reflections, extensions of their legacy. My choice wasn't just a career path, it was a rejection of their entire identity, their life's work. Me, their only heir, publicly declaring that the Mitchell Hale dynasty was flawed, outdated, not good enough. His rage was a narcissistic injury. His disappointment was just a defense mechanism protecting his wounded pride. He didn't yell for long. The coldness came back, far more terrifying than yelling. He motioned for me to stand beside him, and in front of me, he logged into the scholarship portals, one by one, using the passwords he'd forced me to share for my own safety. Click, application withdrawn. Click, application deleted. Years of secret, hopeful work vanished in seconds. He saved my business school application for last. He hit submit. Then he turned to me, face like stone. We don't build fantasies, Chloe. We build assets. You will go to business school. This discussion is over. That night, staring at the ceiling of my perfectly decorated, perfectly cold bedroom, I understood my place. I wasn't a daughter. I was a rebellious asset that needed to be corrected. I went to business school. Their business school. But I lived a double life. Something inside me had fractured the night my father deleted my applications. The part that craved their approval went cold. It was replaced by something quieter, more dangerous. A plan. I used their money to build my real education. College became my strategic planning phase. Every finance class wasn't just about balance sheets. It was a deep dive into funding models for high-capital green tech startups. Every marketing project wasn't just a case study. It was a business plan for a company I mentally called Terra Verde. I deliberately chose electives in supply chain logistics, environmental policy, pieces of a puzzle my parents couldn't see. They just saw the 4.0 GPA and nodded, satisfied. Their investment was paying off. They thought I was becoming a sharper version of them. They had no idea I was building the weapon that would make their worldview irrelevant. The real game changer came junior year. Professor David Larson. He wasn't just an academic. 20 years in sustainable development. Groundbreaking projects across Asia and Europe. After a guest lecture, I stayed behind. Our conversation lasted for hours. He looked at my sketches, my secret business plans. He studied me with curious intensity. Chloe, your understanding of biomimicry and market application is beyond anything I'm seeing in the professional world. Why are you in the finance track? So I told him. All of it. The dynasty, the pressure, the deleted applications. He nodded slowly. Family legacy is a powerful anchor, Chloe. It can stabilize you, or it can drown you. Ultimately, you have to decide if you want to be the captain of their ship or the architect of your own. Professor Larson became my mentor. He connected me to engineers, investors, innovators. By the time I graduated summa cum laude, just as they demanded, I didn't just have a business degree. I had a network. 2 weeks after graduation, the partnership offer arrived. Heavy cream-colored envelope. Mitchell Hale Properties. Junior partnership. 6-figure salary. The keys to the kingdom. That same day, I accepted an entry-level position at a tiny green building startup in Palo Alto. The salary barely covered rent for a shared apartment. I told my parents over dinner. The silence was deafening. My father called me ungrateful. My mother asked if I was having a mental breakdown. It's just a phase, my father finally declared, tossing his napkin on the table. When you're tired of being a naive tree hugger, our door is open. You'll come to your senses. I moved out that weekend. My father didn't help me carry a single box. My mother called me a naive tree hugger. My father told me not to come home until I was serious about life. So I didn't. For the next few years, I basically disappeared. I lived on coffee and determination, spent years in that small startup learning the industry from the ground up. Not just theory, supply chains, material sourcing, the brutal realities of construction zoning. I saved every penny, combined my life savings, $150,000, with a $900,000 angel investment from my very first client. A tech CEO tired of building glass boxes who believed in my vision. $1.05 million. Terra Verde Dynamics was born. The first 2 years were brutal, soul-crushingly hard. We nearly went bankrupt twice. The first time, a major supplier pulled out, spooked by my inexperience. The second time, a recession hit. Sustainable building was the first luxury cut from corporate budgets. I worked 18-hour days, slept on a couch in our tiny Palo Alto office for 3 months straight. But we survived. We innovated. We proved that green building wasn't just a fantasy. It was cheaper, more efficient, more desirable than the old way. Today, Terra Verde Dynamics is a 9-figure company, the leading name in sustainable corporate architecture. Our designs win global awards. We have a waiting list of clients. And you know the crazy part? After all that, a part of me still wanted their approval. It's confusing, isn't it? Why would someone who built $100 million company from nothing still care about the opinion of the people who tried to stop her? It's a psychological concept I learned about in therapy. The ghost in the room. The approval trap. When you grow up with parents who only give conditional approval, intermittent reinforcement, it builds a powerful lifelong drive to finally win, to heal that original wound. You're not seeking approval for the person you are. You're seeking it for the child who was told they weren't good enough. My 9-figure success, my awards, my headquarters, it all felt somehow incomplete because that ghost was still in the room, waiting for my father to finally say, "You did it." So I tried. I sent them an article, Architecture Magazine, my face on the cover, innovator to watch. My father sent back a one-line email. A lot of magazines are desperate for content these days. I invited them to the grand opening of our new headquarters, the living lab I designed from the ground up. They declined. Prior engagement at their country club. The last time I saw them was at a family gathering, a cousin's wedding. My mother was holding court with her friends. She gestured me over. "Oh, and this is Chloe. She's still doing that green thing." She smiled that tight, dismissive smile. "It's nice you're still employed as a glorified recycling blogger." A glorified recycling blogger. That's what my 9-figure company meant to her. That was the last time I tried. I finally let go. I accepted that I would never get their approval because their approval was never actually about me. It was about them. Which brings us to today. Right now, I'm standing just out of sight, in the alcove beside the main entrance of my headquarters, this living lab of sustainable tech. I can see the black sedan pulling up to the curb. My heart isn't pounding. It's perfectly, terrifyingly still. The door opens. My father steps out first, adjusting the cuffs on his expensive suit. Then my mother, elegant as ever, smoothing her skirt. And finally, Arthur Vance. Tall, sharp, intelligent face, CEO of Vance Global. My team is ready, but I've asked them to hang back. This I have to do myself. As they walk toward the entrance, I can hear my mother's practiced, charming laugh, making small talk with Mr. Vance. "We're just so thrilled to show you our proposal, Arthur. The Mitchell-Hale legacy is built on this kind of grand vision." Mr. Vance nods, looking around at the living wall covering my building's facade. "Impressive structure. Your vendor seems to know their work." And then my mother seals her own fate. She laughs, that brittle laugh I've known my entire life, the one that always comes before a dismissal. "Oh, this? It's ambitious." She gestures vaguely. "Our daughter, she's just a disappointment. Honestly, walked away from a real estate dynasty to be, well, a naive tree hugger." Mr. Vance looks thoughtful. "My son did something similar, became a marine biologist. Took me years to realize he was just smarter than I was." My mother misses the warning. "Well, I doubt being a glorified recycling blogger qualifies as smart, but she's our cross to bear." That's it. That's the moment. I take one deep breath, steadying myself. Then I step out from the alcove, walking directly into their path. I extend my hand, not to my parents, but to their client. My face is calm, professional, bright. "Mr. Vance, good morning. Welcome to Terra Verde Dynamics." My parents freeze. Absolute frozen shock. I keep my eyes locked on Mr. Vance, my smile unwavering. "I'm Chloe Mitchell, founder and CEO. We are so delighted to have you." I hear a sharp gasp. It's my mother. Mr. Vance's eyes flick from my face to my parents. You can see the billion-dollar CEO brain connecting the dots in a nanosecond. "Mitchell." My mother's hand, the one holding her high-tech portfolio tablet, suddenly goes slack. Her face pale, eyes wide with a horror that's almost comical. The tablet slips from her fingers. It hits the polished concrete floor with a sound that echoes through the entire silent lobby. A sickening crack. Glass shatters into 1,000 pieces, scattering the Mitchell-Hale proposal across my company's floor. The symbol of their legacy, shattered at my feet. The presentation is a blur, but it's my blur, and I am in complete control. My team, seeing my parents' faces, finally understands the electricity in the room. They step up, and we are flawless. I'm not just showing charts, I'm showing our living lab. Real-time data from the building we're standing in, The water recycling systems, the geothermal cooling, the patented smart glass that tints with the sun, cutting energy costs by 60%. My parents are silent, utterly, completely silent. My father, the master negotiator, just sits there, jaw tight. My mother looks small. The shattered pieces of her tablet are quietly cleaned up by my assistant, Olivia. She gives me a sharp, supportive nod. I am in my element. I'm not the disappointment. I'm not the tree hugger. I am the foremost expert in this room, and everyone knows it. As I finish, Mr. Vance is quiet for a long moment. He looks at me, then at my parents, then back to me. My father finally clears his throat, attempting to reclaim control. As you can see, Arthur, our vendor here is quite passionate. Mitchell Hale Properties believes in... Mr. Vance holds up a hand, politely, but with the unmistakable authority of a man who runs a global conglomerate. Richard, please. He turns his full attention to me. Miss Mitchell, that was remarkable, but I have a confession. My parents lean in, desperate. I've been tracking Terra Verde Dynamics for 6 months. I feel my own eyebrows raise. This is news to me. Your work on the Singapore project was revolutionary. I knew you were the one I wanted to build my new global headquarters. He glances at my parents. Richard, Cynthia, I only accepted your firm's proposal to see if the old guard had any new ideas, to see if you had anything that could compete with this. He gestures around the room. You didn't. But ironically, you did bring me exactly where I needed to be. He turns back to me, ignoring them completely. This meeting was a formality. I'm not interested in the proposal your parents brought. I'm interested in a global contract with you. Let's have our teams discuss expanding this to cover our entire North American and European portfolio. It's a kill shot, a clean, professional kill shot. My father's face drains of all color. My mother just stares at the spot on the floor where her tablet used to be. After Mr. Vance is escorted to his car by my team, my parents remain. The vast, sunlit lobby suddenly feels like a cage. My father is the first to recover, ever the strategist. He straightens his tie. Chloe, this is incredible. He sputters, fake booming pride in his voice. We had no idea. Now that we see the scale of your operation, we should really discuss how Mitchell Hale can help you. We have connections, clients. The offer is so transparent, so pathetically self-interested. I almost laugh. Help? I ask, my voice quiet, cold. Yes, we can take this to the next level, together. I finally look at them. Really look at them. Not as the giants of my childhood, but as they are. 2 ambitious, frightened people who just lost. You called me a disappointment less than an hour ago, Mother, to your client's face. You called me a naive tree hugger. Father, now Chloe. My father starts. In the heat of the moment. It wasn't the heat of the moment, I counter. It was the truth. Your truth. For 10 years you've called me a failure, a glorified recycling blogger. You deleted my future from a computer because it wasn't your future. My mother's eyes glisten. We didn't understand. We always supported you. No. I say it with finality that surprises even me. You didn't. You didn't support me. You didn't believe in me, and you didn't help me. I built this without you. I built this despite you. I pick up my own tablet. I appreciate the offer, but my client acquisition strategy is quite effective. We have a waiting list. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a global contract to prepare. I walk away, leaving them standing there. Among the invisible, shattered pieces of their legacy, the Vance Global contract tripled our value overnight. But the real victory wasn't the money, it was the silence. My parents' rejection, that gilded cage they built for me, was the very thing that forced me to build my own world. A world they couldn't control. So last month, I launched the Terra Verde Foundation. We're funding scholarships for young women in sustainable tech and architecture. I'm seeding a new generation of naive tree huggers, who I promise you are going to change the world. And that brings me to you. This is a letter to everyone who has ever been called the disappointment, to every black sheep, to every person who felt like they were on the outside of their own family. I see you. Your rebellion isn't a flaw. It's your courage. Your passion isn't a hobby. It's your purpose. Do not let their limited vision define your sky. They call you a disappointment because you are building something they could never, ever imagine. So let them talk. You just keep building. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more, and share your story in the comments.